you're going to likely have experiences that will challenge you, that will make you feel lonely, that will bring out every ounce of person consciousness left in you. It will force you to vomit it up, so to speak. It might feel violent, it might feel aggressive, it might feel unfair. And the shepherd, if they wish to graduate to a higher level shepherd, and glimpses, this is beginning to get into mere consciousness territory, they would accept the lack of an oasis, the lack of getting what they want, and the presence of injustice, aloneness, misunderstanding, and nothing of pleasure in the foreseeable future or surroundings whatsoever. This is how shepherds are born. Welcome to the crucible. At the other end of this challenge, if you've succeeded, so to speak, you are now a reliable, trustworthy vessel of the collective desire and mission of awakening. So it's simultaneously highly inspiring as well as seemingly sacrificial of self. And in a sense, there's no better way to sum up what it requires to become a shepherd, to be purified. But again, remember, the pleasures you seek in your 3D life are finally found at the other end of this challenge, this purification. It's actually what you already seek. So if this doesn't sound appealing to you, think again. It's exactly what you seek. It doesn't sound appealing to you because you seek this. See if you can get that. You seek what I'm talking about, the pleasure on the other side of this. But because you seek that pleasure, you would reject this opportunity or this path or way. Because you seek that pleasure, this does not seem like it's that pleasure, but it is. Beyond the mirror, very briefly, there's the gateway. And this only happens if the entity has realized the absolute beyond the God state, absolute reality, before even the presence of God, before the I am, before consciousness. If you've penetrated beyond consciousness, which I doubt any of you have, maybe, possibly one or two. And I'm saying this to indicate how rare it is and how it's different from the God state. It's often conflated with the God state, or it's conflated with nothingness. And I don't want people to run away with this, like, oh, I had a moment where I had no thoughts for a second. There was just nothingness. I realized the absolute. Happens way too often. And therefore, I must be a gateway being. And I'm just mirroring you, and you don't know what you're talking about, and I'm pure, and you're not. You get those kinds of dynamics. So I want you to understand how rare this is. So I'm not saying this to pedestalize that or myself in any way. I'm saying this to safeguard you from your own personality. This is grace poured entirely in your direction for no other reason or incentive than your well-being, your unity, and your truth. The shepherd is the imperfect version of this. They aim for this, but they have too much personal self left, and so they work with that. But the mirror is able to do this, where there is no self, no intention. That's what you can expect. Then what's the distinction? What if someone enters into the absolute, so to speak, for lack of better words, enter into? But what if someone activates their absolute realization, and you're standing in front of their physical presence? And the few times that I've experienced that through myself and the effects of that, it is like a gateway. It's like a black hole opens up, which is positive, by the way, it's not negative, but it can be daunting, right? It's like the next level shepherd's sacrifice of person to shepherd. This is like the sacrifice of even being. Do you trust enough in absolute reality to let go even of your sense of self altogether? So, but it's like a black hole opens up and like a vortex or sort of a sucking in, like an attraction, like a gravitational well, just like with the black hole, essentially, that functions like a gateway. So that's why I termed that state in action as the gateway being. So anyway, I don't teach this. I can't teach this. The only thing that can establish this would be to penetrate into absolute reality, which is an old teaching in and of itself. I do offer that in certain places. It's also on YouTube here and there, sprinkled throughout some of my guided meditations, just to give you a sense of it at least. So yes, my friends, that's basically it. But the main focus of the whole MU environment and the mission in general is to help people to become shepherds, or at least to train shepherds to help persons. The world is filled with persons still to this day. We need a lot of shepherds to fulfill the calling of those persons, and we can't do that if we're persons ourselves.